Hello, everyone, and welcome. I hope that this isn't going to be one of the longest videos that I make, but I intend for it to be helpful for everyone so we can understand a little bit more about how imagination works and why it's the cause, why it's the one that's going to get projected out. So, yesterday, and what is the inspiration for this video, I was talking to one of my clients on the phone, and we were more so talking about how kids imagine and how when we were very young we really didn't care. We just assumed to be whatever we wanted to be, and we didn't do it because we wanted to get something. We did it because we wanted to experience having or being something. So that's mainly to say that what has mainly changed, in my opinion, between how we used imagination when we were kids versus why we're having such a hard time using it right now is because as adults we are fearful. There's, oh my god, hold on. We are fearful, right? So there is fear that separates. There was no fear that, I don't know, I couldn't be a princess when I was a kid. There was absolutely no fear that I couldn't be a teacher when I was a kid. That was my main imaginal act that I would do because I wanted to be a teacher. And guess what? I ended up being quote unquote stuck in teaching schools for like 7 years, both in high school and in university. So it did come true. I ended up not liking it anymore, but my visuals were so vivid in time after time after time after time when I was a kid that it ended up happening. So, as kids, we don't have the fear. We're not afraid of anything. We're not afraid of, well, how do I become a teacher? I need to do all of this. I need to go to school. I need to, I don't know, get all this paperwork done. I need to get certified. There's nothing that's holding us back from being what we want to be. We see it based on what other people do around us, what we see on TV, what we see on kids' shows, and we think we can do it too. There's absolutely no problem, no questioning, because kids don't really care about disappointment or, oh my God, I'm looking delusional and people are going to think I'm crazy for doing this. They don't care about whether or not it makes sense, right? They really don't care. They could say that they're a dragon. If they believe it, they're gonna act and continue acting like a dragon. Like, I have this crazy example that I've heard so far. Hold on, before this locks. The crazy example that I've heard before, it was that some kids at some schools have litter boxes because they believe they're cats. So in their bathroom they have litter boxes. You guys are gonna laugh for this. I laughed too. I'm like, whoa. But just to say that, who's stopping them? Some people even are supporting them in what they believe. So they don't care if it doesn't make sense. They don't care about if it's gonna take a 50 years for you to get, for them to get the manifestation. They don't even give a shit about what other people think because they're all kids. They're all literally imagining of being something. They don't care about needing proof or somebody validating them. You could tell your kid all day, no, you're not a dragon, and they're gonna tell you, but what do you mean? Like, I know, but my imagination, I am, like, I can be. They don't care about that. They don't care that it's not possible. They don't care that certain things, they take time. They don't care. They just literally live more in point A, which is imagination, right? They leave more there. And I'm going to explain it a little bit further, like a little bit later. But they live in imagination. They spend most of the time in imagination. They treat that as real, and then they don't care about it projecting out or manifesting in the 3D. But the problem is, kids don't expect. No, better said, not that they don't expect. They expect their imagination is real. because it feels real to them. In that moment they're a dragon, they're the Barbie doll, and speaking as it. But adults, on the other hand, they think that fear is real. Have you noticed that everything that's stopping you back is fear? It's not because it's not possible, or that, even after you understand manifestation and I tell you everything that I could tell you about manifestation, even after that, what's stopping you is fears that have millions and millions of ways of um expressing. So it can be anxiety, it can be depression, it could be um I don't know, like genuine actual fear of abandonment, fear of rejection. It's so many layers to fear, and the only thing that's actually stopping adults from getting what they want is the fear. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? Kids don't give a shit about that. They just manifest. They just imagine. You know what I'm saying? They just imagine. Whereas adults, we just go by, it's not realistic. I'm delusional. That's never going to happen. It's not possible. We believe the fear more than we believe in our imagination and our power. Because that's what feels real to us. It's the fear. So going back, so you see here that I have this diagram or whatever the fuck it is, where we have two circles. Each one of them has point A and point B. Point A is imagination, which is the cause. We've already established that in other videos. 3D is in point B, which is the effect. So most people, most adults live in the 3D. You cannot argue with me about it. You cannot tell me that's not true, because it is. It is. We live in point B, and we only visit point A if we're getting something from it. If we're doing manifestation, we're visiting it. We're not living in imagination, because imagination to us, because it's all in our head, it doesn't feel as real as the physical world. So we don't live in imagination. We live in the 3D. We focus on what's happening in the 3D, and then we go and visit imagination at point A. We do it because we want to get something, because we want to change something, because you've heard it from me, you've heard it from other people talking about it. I don't know why, but it's usually to get, to fix, to change. It's not, I've never heard, you know, barely, even probably more so after I presented to them. I barely heard somebody tell me, I just go in imagination to just be and enjoy it. Barely heard it. Everyone is to get, to do, to make happen, which is adult way of thinking. Because children, they live in point A. And sometimes, if they want it or not, they come back to Earth, and they visit the 3D. They visit the 3D. They don't live in the 3D. They're mostly in their imagination, being whatever they want to be. We do the opposite of what we're supposed to do. This is exactly what we're talking about, me and my client yesterday, about how kids just imagine and believe that it can be anything. I want you to understand that imagination is the cause. And I'll say it again and again and again and again. Imagination is the cause. The 3D is an effect. Do you think that it's useful to live only in 3D and just sometimes visit imagination? No. Just like I said, when you do things in imagination, you place an order with the universe. And in the 3D, you're going to get it delivered. You're going to get it materialized. But the order is first placed in imagination. You accepting it as true, you accepting it as yours. My nose is a little bit stuffed. It's the weather, guys. Okay? We're obsessing over this whole thing in the 3D, constantly panicking, looking at it, this fear. That's the problem. If we weren't afraid of anything, we would be in imagination most of the times, but it's the fear that holds us back. Why do we have the fear? Is because to us, the 3D is so real that it is the authority. It's the deciding factor. Have we been successful or not? Do I have what I want or not? It's the authority for adults. For kids, it's not. Kids defy. They defy the limitations of the 3D with any chance they get. We don't do that as adults anymore. Because, you know, the adults, like, I understand it. The fears are built and kind of taken over and learned um through the experiences. So as a child, maybe you've experienced negative experiences, but it was like over time. So I'm talking about ideal situation, okay? An ideal situation. As a child, you literally had very little to no experience around this, around being disappointed. When you were a child, you didn't care if what you wanted to be, what you wanted to have was not possible for you, or if it was possible for you. You didn't care about the possibility. You didn't give a shit if it made sense or not to the adults, to you. You just did it. You didn't care. You didn't even care about if and when it may manifest, or if you may see it or you may get it. You did not care. You assumed you were in imagination. You were being enjoying the imagination and experienced your desires in imagination as if they were real. It felt real. You were satisfied with that. You wanted nothing more. You were playing with dolls. You could do that for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and being Barbie and Ken and cutting hair and washing the hair and pretending you're at the salon, and then with the dogs and play for hours at a time. And you enjoyed that, and you believed it. You were talking, the whole focus, it was like, I remember, I'm getting some flashbacks about imagining and playing with dolls. I remember it felt so real that, like, I was having an out of body experience where I was talking as the doll and was looking at the doll, and I was like I was the doll. I wasn't me anymore. Like, I know I was the one talking, but I was living and existing as a doll. That's how manifestation works. And what is the point of me telling all of this? Because I want to place and put the awareness of how kids manifest, and why it is so effortless for kids to manifest. So I wanted to give you a step by step kind of thing, because we've already decided that kids don't care about how, when, if it's possible, if it's not possible. Those are kind of guidelines. They kind of tell you how to manifest, if only you were to pay attention. So how can you manifest like a child? Okay, like a child. How can we manifest like a child? Let's do this. Step 1. um don't think about the How? Kids don't care about the how, if it's possible, if it's not possible. How the hell would I get a castle? How would I um become a fucking dragon like I said before? How can I become the Barbie? How is mommy coming home? They don't care. They don't care about how. They don't. They don't try to make shit happen. They just imagine. This is like, as I know, don't do this, don't do that. That might not sound so limiting. It's like, but I'm not telling you what to do. You just imagine and imagine to become. Not to get, not to make sense, not to, I don't know, make shit happen. You imagine to become, to be it, to feel it. Then, as a step two, we can say, I don't know. Another thing that's very important about kids and play is it's fun, right? It's fun. It's a kind of scenario and imagination that they have that they enjoy it. So maybe focusing on doing things that make you feel good. Enjoy it. That's what I tell you guys every single time. What am I saying? Like the way I pronounce things today is kind of weird. So, anyways, so enjoy it. That's what I tell you guys all the time. The techniques, they shouldn't feel like a chore. Like, oh my god, I feel like shit today. I don't really want to do this. If it feels like that, whoa. If you force a scene, whoa, stop. Make it fun. Make it enjoyable for you. Um, I don't know, make it something that feels unrealistic as hell. Like you're flying with your person somewhere, like you're in Aladdin or something. Make it fun. Connect with that part of you that is just there to have fun. Do crazy stuff. Fight, I don't know, aliens or something in your imagination with your person. Then you have like everything that you see in movies. Have this crazy romance story developing, all the arc and something like that. Make it fun and exciting. Make you feel something. What are you getting from that scene? How does it feel? Because it must feel good to you. You don't need to force it. That's what I tell you guys all the time when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to the techniques that you do. They don't need to feel forced. They need to feel neutral, natural, and feel good to you. Okay? Now, what else? The step three, it could be logic. This is the biggest problem we have. That's where the fear kicks in. Logic. You have all of this, but how, but when, but was not here yet, but they said this, but they did that, but this is how it is, but this is exactly what happened in the past, but this is how things went. Logic, 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 logic. You're not gonna get anywhere. Manifestation is not logical. Manifestation is not logical at all, because you're using imagination. These two things don't go together. They are not besties at all. They don't go together. So stop asking, is this gonna happen? Is this possible? How am I gonna get it? Can I have this? Stop asking the logical questions, because if you really think about it, this is Limitless Manifestation 101, right? These are the whole points of the videos. Limitless Manifestation 101. Like I've told you, I think it was in the first video or the second video. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was on the first one when I asked you to imagine an elephant in the room or something like that, or a Godzilla with a purple dress. You have no limits in your imagination. that's like 3D. Maybe it has a lot of limits. Maybe it will take you a while to experience what you want to experience, but nobody's stopping you from experiencing it in imagination. Only you are stopping yourself from experiencing what you want to experience in imagination. Imagination is limitless. You can have anything you want in imagination. So don't worry about the logic. Don't worry about it. The step 4, I feel like the best suited step 4 would be fully sinking deep into um the scene and like feeling it as real when you're immersed and you're playing for hours and hours and hours and you're enjoying it and you're like looking at the time and it's like 9 p.m. and you're like, whoa, is it time for dinner yet? Because you spent and enjoyed it all day long. And that was the in that moment it was the only reality. Because let's think about it this way. So let's give it the what's it called, like the Spider-Man is coming to mind, or another like superhero that kids like a lot. I don't know, Batman or something like that, because I've seen that a lot happening around and for Halloween and all that shit. So let's say that kids are imagining either being Batman or Spider-Man or something, because this is gonna make sense. Because when kids imagine, like, truly think about it, when kids imagine being that specific superhero or being that specific person, they actually are that superhero. They don't try to become, they don't try to put in effort, they don't imagine to make it happen. They aren't restricted by the fears that we talked about before. They fully become it. So this is more so like, I don't know, make it the only reality or something. I can't even find one word for this. Maybe be it, because that's the shorter version of it. So like, be it so deeply that you feel like it's the only reality, the only possibility, the only thing that exists in that moment. And overall too, like, it's the only thing that exists. You may call it delusional, I don't call it delusional, I call it waking the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Because kids, they completely feel it. They feel as the superhero. What would they do? How are they trying to save the world? How do they try to save the day? What is happening? They imagine all angles, everything, the scenes. They get completely immersed into it. You can do the same thing. You don't have to go crazy and run around your house and be like, oh my God, I'm Spider-Man. You don't have to do that. But you can definitely use your imagination to fully immerse yourself with all. Oh my God. Whoa, I did not mean to zoom that out big. Okay. You can totally use, and this is something that I tell you, all of you, your 556, no, 5 senses to make it feel real, to completely immerse yourself in it. Use the 5 senses. And probably the last step, which fits so well with what I explained in the beginning of this video, is using the imagination and making that a place that you're consistently in. Not in, you're in the 3D and you're visiting the imagination, but you're like kind of residing in imagination and visiting 3D. Because the 3D is malleable, is always changing. It depends on your imagination, what you accept as true. So, living in something that's not really gonna stay the same forever, it's kind of a bummer. It's boring. It's boring. Imagination is the only thing that's really permanent, that you always have it. And you can make it permanent there too. You can imagine and visualize and expand on the same scene for days and it stays the same. For days. And for that, I had prepared that you guys probably saw a sneak peek of it as I was doing other stuff and moving around. I prepared this one too, which is probably one of my favorite kind of metaphors or things to explain. So I wrote here, you see, we have bro. We have imagination as the film. So you see the film is the imagination. The mind is the projector and the 3D is the screen. So you have the image here. So we have here this projector, which is the mind, is playing the film, which is the imagination, what we're doing in imagination. And then through the power of your mind, you're going to see that projected in what? The 3D, which is the screen, what you're seeing in front of you. Do you think that it works backwards? Meaning, like, oh, the screen is gonna wake up and it's gonna say, you know what? But I don't like this movie. You better change your projector. You better change the film. What are you doing? No, it doesn't control the movie that is playing. It's neutral at all times. This 3D, this screen is neutral. It only will project whatever you give it to project. Whatever image you project onto it, that's what's going to project. So getting mad at the screen for for you seeing the things that you've accepted as true is kind of pointless. Not gonna lie, you're wasting your time. It's kind of pointless because you're right down here fighting in the 3D with people, with yourself, with feeling sorry for yourself, doing all this. You're kind of wasting your time circling round and round and round and round and round, trying to figure out the 3D instead of actually going to the cause. It's like, what film did I put in here? What the hell is playing out in my mind? You're gonna be forever stuck in the 3D and trying to make it make sense if you continuously circle in the wrong area. That's not it. It all starts from the imagination. It all starts from imagination. Imagination is the only reality because it is what gets projected out. This is just a part of the 3D is just a product of particles of light, of images, or whatever they're made of, colors. It's not real. It's just a projection, the shadow of it, or something. It's not real. You believe that your shadow, when you're walking by right now, you're literally believing that your shadow, when you see the light, kind of, when when you walk down the street and it's late at night and kind of everything is dark, so it's perfect when you pass a light to form a shadow. So the light is shining on you and you see the freaking shadow and you believe that that shadow is what's real instead of what's actually making that shadow happen and exist, which is you. The shadow is not real. Imagination is real. It's where it's coming from, where it's all starting. What do you do about this 3D? Because we all have a problem with the 3D recently, from what I'm seeing. What do we do about it? If there's one thing that you learned, it's not that you have to stop caring and giving it two shits about the 3D. It's 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 about understanding that the 3D, no matter how much you try to make it make sense, no matter how much you try to understand it and look at it and argue with it and I don't know, figure it out, it can only follow your imagination, your mind, what you tell it. It is constantly obeying you, waiting for your commands, for you to insert the freaking film in here and project it out. It's waiting for you. Otherwise, it's a blank screen with nothing going on. Other than the film that you put in. When you take out the film and you put a new one, you're gonna see a new movie. It's not gonna you're gonna not gonna have the same movie play out. It's gonna be a new one. Your 3D cannot tell you, whoa, guess what, projector? The kind of movie that you're playing right now is wrong. It cannot tell you that. It will simply project it. Not project it, but show it. It will simply show the movie. It cannot do anything. You need to pick the scene that you want to put in this projector, right? In imagination, pick the scene, be in the scene, immerse yourself with all of your five senses, live as if that is the truth, because it is. In your 3D, once you insert it in there, it projected, period. Whether you see it or not, it projected. Shit starts moving, because imagination is what's the cause. We already saw that in this other one. Imagination is the cause. The 3D is just the effect. It follows you, it follows the cause. It's not the other way around. It's not the other way around. You need to live from imagination. Stop tracking the 3D. Stop trying to make it make sense. Stop trying to give it the power that it doesn't have. It has no power. Your new self should be one that doesn't give two shits about the 3D, because it knows that it's just neutral. It's just the screen that helps you see and get your projections out, but it's not the truth. Be someone who, like a child, doesn't need the proof. That you allow yourself to fully believe and immerse yourself that your imagination is the truth. And you play with it and you create different scenes with different angles, with different things happening. You believe in them, you immerse yourself in them as if they are true, because that's the key. That's your manifestation power. You need to allow yourself to be in imagination, experience reality through your imagination. That's how you manifest. That's how you're going to be successful at it. Instead of limiting yourself with fears and all the other things and doubts and what if it works, what if it doesn't work, what's going to happen, la 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 la, this hurts, yada yada. I know sometimes it feels real. It really feels sucks ass. But are you going to let it dictate the movie that you're playing, or are you going to make a different choice? Okay, guys, this is all that I had for today. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that this was informative and that it helps you understand manifestation a little bit better. And I'm probably gonna get a new idea for another video very soon. So we're just gonna leave it at that for now. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.